Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we're going to be covering the Mace. It's a new Minecraft weapon that will be coming in the Minecraft 1.21 update, and people are saying that this is quite overpowered, and although it is, it's not really. A lot of people are showcasing this weapon, one-hitting Wardens, Withers, and Ender Dragons, but when they are doing this, they are giving the entity no AI. Whereas if the entity was moving around the world, it would be a lot harder to hit. And if we are realistic about it, the Ender Dragon, you could probably one hit. If it perches, you could like fly up with an Elytra, drop down and hit it. With the Wither, it doesn't really work if you spawn it underground, but if you was to spawn it on the surface, you could probably kill it if it was idle in one spot. And with the Warden, it is very unlikely that you'll find a Warden with 128 blocks of air above it, because they spawn in underground, and caves don't go 128 blocks tall. I think the most a cave can be is like 30-ish or something like that, and it would be kind of pointless to bring a Warden to the surface just to kill it, because that would be a lot of effort. So I've spawned a Warden, and this one has no AI, so I can just show you how it works. It won't move. If I was to teleport myself 150 blocks in the air, and I was to go in survival mode, if I don't touch my keyboard, I die, because I didn't hit the Warden. And that works for any entity. If you don't use the mace and hit something with it, you will take full damage. So that is why it's not overpowered, because if you was to go to the end and you was to fight the Ender Dragon and you was to miss the Ender Dragon as you're falling, you will die and you will take that full damage. If you have feather falling, then you won't take as much damage, but due to the amount of health these guys have, I think the Warden has 500, the Wither has 300, and the Ender Dragon has 200. I could be wrong on that though. You have to fall from like 100 plus blocks to kill any of them, and 100 plus blocks is pretty much death with feather falling as well, I think. So I'm going to throw some feather falling 4 boots inside of here, as feather falling 4 is the max you can get. And I'm going to teleport myself 100 blocks into the sky, just to see. Or 150 I know definitely will kill me. Let's try 100 blocks, and I think we will die from this as well. Yeah, we do. Okay, so yeah, it's pretty much death, unless you land your hit. So now let's show you me landing the hit. Let's go up 150 blocks. Let's take the boots off. And if I was to now hit the Warden as I land, it does require some skill. So let's see if I can hit the Warden as I land. Now, there we go. We did hit the Warden. I killed the Warden, and I didn't take any full damage. I am alive. So you have to land your hit for the full damage to be cancelled. And you saw me fall from 150 blocks right there. That will mean that the Warden will instantly die. But if we was to head down into the deep dark, there is no cave that goes 150 blocks into the air. So it's something that you can't really do to Wardens in survival mode. Also, the mace can currently not be enchanted. It can't have mending, it can't have unbreaking, nor can it have any enchantments in the game. This could mean one of two things. This could mean that this is the first tool or weapon they don't want you to be able to mend or have extra damage applied to. Which makes sense, because it already does so much damage if you know how to use it. Or it could mean that we have Mace exclusive enchantments coming in the future, kind of like the tridents, the crossbows, and the bows. But that's something we'll have to wait and see. To be honest, I don't think it should have enchantments, just because it's a cool, unique item. I think it also not being able to be repaired means that players have to know when to use it and not just spam click it. As currently with mending, once you have mending on something, it's very unlikely that you lose it unless you just stop taking note of the durability. And that is very rare that someone does break an item because they haven't noticed it's almost dead. So I was just looking, and you can actually repair the mace. The mace can currently be repaired with breeze rods. It seems like one breeze rod currently repairs about 62 durability, which is kind of good. So the item can be repaired, and breeze rods are not that hard to come by. They can also be farmed. You can obviously farm them because breezes from trial spawners do regenerate after 30 minutes. It cannot be repaired with heavy cores. It is only breeze rods. One thing I do want to mention, and this was confirmed by King B-Dogs on Twitter or X, the chance of getting a heavy core from a vault block is 2.2% every vault you open. So if I open this one, there is a 2.2% chance I'll get one from this one. If I was to open this one, it's once again a 2.2% chance. So I've opened up 25 vaults right here, and you can see we got one. There is one on this back block right here. So they are going to be extremely rare to get. And to unlock, for example, these 25, that is like 2 to 3 trial chambers. So they are quite rare, and I like that because it makes the mace even harder to then obtain. If you was then able to put mending on this thing, it would then remove this whole rarity of them, because once you have one, you then don't need to worry about getting another one, and I like that they are rare because they in some sense are overpowered. Now, one thing to note about the mace, you can also one-hit players with it if you fall high enough, and you can also one-hit full netherite enchanted players as well. You just have to know how far to fall, and you have to make sure you land your hit. It's basically just like water bucket clutching, because if you don't land it, you die, and if you don't land the mace, you die. But the mace just has the other property of you can kill entities and knock them back if you do land a hit and there's other entities nearby. Now, quickly, I want to talk about ways I think this should be improved, because first of all, the model. The model in your inventory looks fine, but I don't like how it's like 2D. In my opinion, it doesn't really make sense because you craft it from this item or this block, and for this block to then turn into a 2D item, that's kind of weird. I think they definitely do need to update the model, and they might do, because this is the first beta or snapshot we have gotten, so this is obviously experimental and it's subject to change. Also, the damage could change. I am not expecting this damage to stay the same. I expect them to probably adjust it to make it maybe a little bit weaker or something like that, as although it's pretty hard to get, it can be very useful. But in most cases that people are showing off, it's not likely. People are currently showing them one-hitting wardens and ender dragons, but they're showing them spawned with no AI, so they're in one place and they can't move. So when the mob is moving around the world, it's a lot harder than when it's just spawned in one spot and not being able to move. Inside of survival mode, first of all, you need to find a way to get up into the sky. Elytra is probably the best way, but you can also use like building blocks and things like that. So you need to make sure you are high enough into the sky. We are currently 200 blocks in the sky, which that is way high enough. Let's just make sure we are. Let's remove the elytra. Let's then bring out the mace. And then the warden has moved. So it's not really that easy inside of survival mode. And then the final thing I want to show is this. This is the radius of which the mace will knock back entities. Anything on the red will not be knocked back. Anything within the oak planks will be. If I place down, for example, one right there, and I drop on top of this, you'll see that none of the ones on the outside have been moved. But if I was to place a few within this circle and I was to hit the one in the very center, you'll see that these out ones will be knocked back outside of the platform. So from a center block, it's basically just 2 blocks in a direction in a circle. And I've also done some testing. It does also knock them back 1 block above. So if I was to hit this one in a center, that one will also be knocked back. And it does also do 1 block below. So if I was to once again hit one in a center, that armor stand will also be knocked back. One thing I'm not too sure about is if it depends on the entity's hitbox. So for example, the Ravager has a bigger hitbox than an armor stand. So if I was to hit a Ravager, will that armor stand be able to be moved because of it being like a bigger hitbox? Let's try this. So if I was to fall and hit the Ravager, no, that doesn't move. What about if it was there? Let's try that. Let's drop down. Let's also place some on this main level to see if these ones also moved. Let's drop down and hit the Ravager, and it killed the Ravager, and you can see that they have all been moved but this one. So it doesn't seem like the hitbox matters. But anyway, that is it for this video. If you did enjoy, do leave a like and subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. If you thought this video was helpful, let me know, and if you have any other facts that I didn't cover in the video, do let me know in the comments as well. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.